I'm deeply sorry. Sorry.
It's the RetroTech 120p challenge, and once again, here we are with a wonderful game called The Adventures of Mr. Flea, a game that has made me as popular as an erect shaft in a nursery. It was my pick this week. I didn't expect actually to I haven't had a game for a bit, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to pick a really bad game, and I picked this, and you know what, it's not terrible. It's not terrible, no matter what anyone else says. It is just a game about a flea. It's one of the early games, the early arcade games. It's by a company that didn't really matter. Pacific Novelty. They released this and a game called Thief, which was like Pac-Man, and then I think something else about a shark attack or something. But yeah, I mean, look, you can swing from dog's tails in this level. What's there not to like? But yeah, it's a game that exists. So I picked it. This bit involves, for some reason, this flea can't possibly traverse over, as you can see, that's him dying, by the way, when he gets his parachute. He can't traverse over black dots on a Dalmatian. They're very sparse, those dots, and I'm really bad at that bit. But I do figure it out eventually, don't worry. This isn't a really short go or anything. It's a game I expect some better people, if they can be bothered to play this hitherto unheard of game from 1982, to do quite well in. I think there's potential for maybe Chris or Wayne or Andrew, if he wants to come back and play this wonderful game about a flea, to come and do many rounds of this if he so wishes. I think that I reckon it probably loops. I didn't actually get as far as looping it, but I did well enough. That's a really creepy faced dog, so I'm putting that on my thumbnail. But it's a bit like if you've ever played it, the Journey arcade game, in the fact that you get to choose which level you do. And a lot of them are clones. So this is obviously a Frogger. If you're wondering what those little red things are at the bottom, I thought they were like some sort of like proto, like tardigrade or some sort of creature that lives in someone's blood. They're actually lawnmowers, which makes perfect sense. Now I've looked at them. But yeah, I was like, what am I going through the primordial soup? Am I evolving into a flea? And it's never really explained either why this flea fixates on certain dogs, and the dogs he uses traverse either by their back, like this sausage dog, or by their tail. Why he doesn't just stop there and just munch on that? Maybe there's a she flea on the back. Can we get to the general facts yet? Not quite yet. I want to talk about this game a bit more. So yeah, this is obviously the bit that's like Frogger. The tail swingy bit, I think, is Jungle Swing, I think? Jungle Hunt? Jungle Hunt. That is the last level, so you get to see all of it. Unless there's an extra bit. It might be like a final boss level. But this has you trying to climb a mountain. All the while, Why Do Fools Fall in Love plays. Is the flea in love with a dog's back? I'm not sure why they chose that music. This bit's really difficult. I mean, I've always struggled a bit at Donkey Kong, and there's my first continue done. But yeah, it's really difficult because it is really random. Like I think he initially the dog just kicks a bone out from his doghouse, and it lands down the whole screen. But yeah, that's the Donkey Kong bit. But yeah, there's some really weird use of music in this game. There's the William Tell Overture, there's Brahms' Lullaby, there's that's Robert E. Lee, sorry, not to be confused with the Newcastle midfielder from the 90s, is the Jungle Swing game. I'm running out of time. I should probably talk about animal genitals, shouldn't I? I mean, that's why we're all here. Yeah. So yeah, well, female fleas, they have to eat before they lay eggs. So it's perfectly a romantic and expected thing to do. You buy the lady a meal of a Labrador's back, and she will, if she's enamoured with you, open her little flea legs. So I started to look up facts about flea genitals. I got exceptionally bored. Allow me to read a wonderful little excerpt, the very first sentence of the scientific paper called "The Structure of the Reproductive Organs of the European Rabbit Flea" by a chap called A.R. Mead, and it was published in the late 1950s. It begins with this incredible opener. Although the structure of the external genitalia of fleas has received much attention, very little has been written about the internal reproductive organs. I mean, he's quite right. I mean, you can't go anywhere without hearing about the skeletal structure of the male flea, testicles and penis, or whatever the equivalent is. I should have been paying more attention. Of the European rabbit flea. It's everywhere. Wherever you go, there's always someone talking about the external structure of a male flea's genitals. Like, it's everywhere. TikTok, it's everywhere, like fuel shortages. That's how to date this video when you come back. I've seen people been looking at old 20p challenges. So this is when the fuel shortage happened. Right, I better hurry up because I'm about to go on my last level, aren't I? Oh no, I've got 2 levels. Dog's back. Anyway, yes, so it got really wordy, so I gave up with it. If you're wondering about fleas, and obviously they reproduce quite heavily, if you're wondering how many they can reproduce, well, fleas can reproduce at the rate of 40 to 50 per day for around 50 days, meaning a she flea can produce 2,000 offspring. That's a lot in a lifetime. That's probably 6 more than Boris Johnson's going to finish on. Not that he'll admit it. But yeah, again, that's the end of the genital facts. I think we've had quite enough of that, haven't we? We've had quite enough of the flea genitals. I didn't really give you anything informative there, as we once again climb this back. I presume the dog is sitting down, hence this sort of steep incline on this Dalmatian. Dalmatians, of course, suffer very badly from liver issues. You see, they don't live very long, a lot of them. It's the fact that they reproduce, and that's quite sad. You may look happy now, dog, but I've just explained why have you got eyebrows, by the way, that you're probably not going to live very long. And here we go again. Look at that. That bone just goes straight down to the bottom. So again, I'm really sorry about picking this game. I could have picked. There's loads of really brilliant arcade games that I keep ignoring when I get my go. I've picked things like Escape Kids and I'm Sorry. What I would call obscure games. This is quite obscure in itself. It's I think it's something Douglas will like, because Douglas likes early 80s games. So yeah, it might be one for him. It might not be one for him. But yeah, I like it in a way, I guess. I like it because it's weird. It's a weird concept, playing Flea. It reminds me of the halcyon days of the ZX Spectrum, when we all used to play games where you'd have to avoid mobile toilets and things. Like a weird concept, a high concept game. You're seeing a lot of that with kind of indie games. Maybe there's a comeback for the single person idea of a game, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll see a sequel to The Amazing Adventures of Mr. Flea, but I suspect we won't. And that is the end of my go, as you can see. The screen's got a lovely colour of Strawberry Angel Delight pink, which can only indicate one thing. Game over, player one. Game over in arrows, so more important. But that is the end of it. If you like what you've seen, why don't you join the Retro Tech group? You can also pick a game if you're that way inclined, if you enter yourself in this week. And who knows, maybe you'll get to pick a game as disastrously unpopular as The Amazing Adventures of Mr. Flea. But until that time, Kay, thanks and bye.